Hey y'all, it's Karis here. So for today's discussion, I'm going to be talking about the patterns of dating. That's the topic I chose. And if you see me looking over, I have my notes right here. But the patterns of dating specifically in the selection process. So the first thing that I found interesting but I'm not surprised about is that young people tend to be more open to interracial dating than older people do. So first of all, this is not a surprise to me because in older generations, racism and stigmatism is very common, unfortunately. And I feel like, especially in like Gen Z and like the generations after, and even in millennial as well, you see a lot more interracial dating because of equality and acceptance of every individual instead of just someone because of, oh, they're like the same color as me. I mean, personally, I'm not in an interracial relationship. Me and my boyfriend are both African American, but I do know that before I met him, I was open to dating any race. And obviously, people have preferences. Like, I prefer dark skin as myself, but you should be open-minded as well. And then the second thing that I found was interesting in the patterns of dating is if a woman initiates a date, it may lead to misinterpretation of her character. I think that may be true because sometimes men have issues with reading just the cues from women, especially if they're nonverbal cues. And so maybe women sometimes, like, I just think gender roles aren't as traditional as they used to be. Like men used to be so quick to just ask women out on a date, but now a lot of the times either they're too afraid to or just they don't want to anymore for whatever reason. And so a lot of women do initiate dates, which is a good thing. I don't think it's a bad thing at all, but from experience, honestly, I can say this is true. A lot of men do misinterpret character. They might even think that you want to be the more dominant one of the relationship. I think it's good to have a balance of dominant and submissive, but that's my take on there. But those are the two things that caught my attention. And then something that I'm curious about after reviewing all the things in the modules is I just want to know if, like, kind of like back to my first question, is if older people are more open now to interracial relationships nowadays, because even though this is about dating, this does go on to more issues. Like, for example, if I were to marry someone who was a lighter shade than me, like, I wonder how my older relatives would respond. I just wonder if, since the world has been changing, things have changed along with it. But yeah.